you have to be able to control that area. But hey, loops are loops, right? They're aggressive. They are controlling when they need to be. And we have seen Power catch out Kanina Power a little bit. With Gonzo confirmed, so it's going to be Axer, OGR, and Black White for their side. Left standing, RQ getting pretty close to Team Seeker. These two teams are definitely not shy of each other from past experiences, going back to the PMWL East, of course. And now Power looking to catch a couple of Kanina Power players once again, and that's going to be Team Seeker pushing RRQ back. A1 Esports in a bit of a similar position to Loops, a little bit further down the south. Execute have gone for that rotation on towards the shooting range area. A really good rotation for them, and that position by the airplanes. Yeah, okay, it's a little bit risky to grenades, but because it's a long strip, you can generally protect yourself. Plus, with the nerf to grenade damage, I think it's a bit more of a confident place to hold on to. As RQ and Team Seeker are going to clash up against each other. Team Seeker looking to push it, but they do lose High Boy off the back of it. Maybe they spoke a bit too soon. RQ stand their ground. Rex has a really great flank position across the other side of the road. Can catch the members of RQ if he's able to get the relevant amount of information. He has to be very careful. His angle has been somewhat spotted. There is also a member of RQ pretty close by. Oh, going across the river. It's going to be a clean 1v1 right now between Rex and Ernie. Using the dip to his advantage on the third-person perspective. Ernie is going to be looking to get those pre-fire shots off, but it is going to be Rex that wins that 1v1 trade. And then Senior is going to get the return onto Rex. Nice teamwork coming out from RQ and Team Seeker, a little bit too separated. And that's going to be confirmed kill onto Rex, leaving Team Seeker with 2 players up. Nicely done by RQ. Really solid stuff for them to hold their ground. Now you're going to see the side of ASL. Abrupt Slayers Leon with the car 98 shots. You gotta love to see it in these scrims. The thing is, will we see it? Will we see it in the official broadcast? Will we see headshots with the bolt actions coming through from the likes of Leon? I like that by Abrupt Slayers, looking to take advantage as the next circle has popped up. It's centralized a little bit down south, but it is still majority down on towards the northern side of the river. A little bit of Rosshawk in play. You have side of Secret Jin rotating up towards the eastern side river. Eastern side bridge, sorry, should I say. Hovering on towards the northern side of the river. We do still have the last player of Navi. He has been able to stay held down in North Georgia's 4 angry men. Kind of thought about their position in the circle. I do like Execute's position as well. Again, they've reacted to that circle shift on phase 2 pretty well. Is it a little bit too close to the coastline? Possibly. But they do have Fate and Fame Boys in shooting range, which is pretty down south from that coastal line, so I think it's going to be pretty good for Execute. Blue Bees perching themselves in towards the middle of the circle onto our compound that's by the side of the road, where they're able to grab themselves up on towards the roof. So it's pretty good stuff from Blue Bees. And they do have the side of Archer pretty close by. So good position from both sides. Of course, Archer Gaming have lost a player. That's something they're going to have to think about with Fabian further down south. And RQ continue to put their hurt onto a number of players. But Fear is going to get knocked down. Senior is going to be the last player standing. And it is going to be Abrupt Slayer that take out RQ. I caught that just at the end. And Abrupt Slayers did push that fight. They pushed that engagement off the back of catching that third party out. So nicely done by Abrupt Slayers. It gives them a little bit more space on the southern side of this phase 2 circles and gives them a little bit more control depending on where this phase 3 does shift towards. I really like Seeker Yin's position. It's kind of 1-1, 1-1. Looking pretty good. 4 Angry Men are going for a 2-1-1 split. See that Wonder Play is going pretty deep in towards shooting range. It's a bit risky to shooting range train, right? Because it's a kind of area where there's kind of nearly always somewhere higher ground with footballers rotating really nicely around Stallbar on the eastern side. That's a great rotation from footballers. They recognize the fact that Stallbar is going to be an area in these kind of circles which is going to be probably less prioritized. And it's a much safer, passive, calculated rotation coming out from the Turkish side, the current champions of the PMWL West. The blue zone closing in. I hope the stream is okay. I hope you guys can hear me okay as well. We see BTRs off the back of losing a player early on. They're down to 3. But hell, we know what they can do with 2 players. Never mind 3 or a full squad. They have Power a little bit down south, but Power are a 2-2 split right now down on the southern side of the river. Maybe they've left it a little bit too late to kind of rotate towards the northern side of the river, but then again, it seems like they're kind of playing for that little bit of a passive phase 3 shift. I'm just waiting out, just biding my time. Archer are getting a little bit too close to the side of loops, and I think that's a rotation that is a bit too risky in my eyes, especially off the back of them already being well inside the circle. I don't think they need to make that kind of rotation. I suppose they are grabbing information. Well, let's see what they can do with it. Secret Jin was able to get a knockdown onto one of the Blue Bees players. Blue Bees, the Japanese side, of course. We know that leading up to this qualifying for the PMGC, they played on iPad, so they are coming into this tournament not only facing against the 23 of the best teams across the world, but they're switching to mobile devices for this. And hey, credit to them. You know, they may need a lot of time to practice, but by participating in these scrims, they're definitely aiding in their journey. Phase 3 did shift quite heavily over on the northeast, so we will see a lot of teams going for a deep rotation. This is where it really has benefited football. Seeker Jim was one of the first teams to react to that circle shift, followed by Execute, had already had a solid position towards the coastal line of the circle, and now they're going to be looking to get out. Zute, one of the most experienced players in the world of PUBG Mobile globally, is now going to be leading the Execute side in the biggest, grandest stage of them all. Team Seeker are going to get punished across the board outside the circle. It's going to be Abrupt Slayers who are opting to go for the kills rather than rotating into circle, maybe recognizing that, look, if they went for the push into the circle, they most likely get caught out, so they're going to play on the outskirts. We are going to see A1 and a couple of teams go against each other. A1 really dealing with this nicely, although they are down to 2 players. Loops on the higher ground overlooking this compound. Loops are also punishing BTR. They don't really care who's around them. They're going to go for the controlling area, right? You can see where they're currently located. Looking for Sinister in towards that compound. DP28 for Curlio is going to get put under a little bit too much pressure. Gonna have to heal up. The focus, in my opinion, has to be that engagement onto A1, because when you look at that position inside the circle, they really have to kind of move in. And if they can take out A1, they can control pretty much the southern side other than BTR. So that's going to be really important. We do see Team Seeker do lose their final player, so it is just Abrupt Slayers down on the southern side outside the circle. Power are going for a rotation now on the eastern side of Stallbar. Footballers have themselves set up as a 2-1-1 split, I would say, with Execute going for a bit of a 2-2 split, but joining up a little bit together. However, in saying that, Fame Boys does get knocked out because they're on a bit of a 2-2 split. They will be able to get that revive off pretty fairly. 4 Angry Men, though, they're coming in from the western side of them. We'll have to wait and see what 4 Angry Men can do from this position in Erengle. The Chinese side still getting used to the meta of the global version of PUBG Mobile. Plus, you're going to have the addition of Sanhok and Vikendi, 2 maps that they are not used to playing in the Chinese Peacekeeper Elite Championships and the leagues. They might play it casually, but from a competitive standpoint, every single map always runs a little bit differently. Blue Zone of Phase 3 is closing in. So we'll have to wait and see. Blue B still standing on point as a full squad in this 2-2 split. So they've reacted really well to these circle shifts. Now, where is it going to go? It's going to shift down south. And this is where I worry about Loops. Because now they're not only going to have A1 looking at them, or them looking at A1, they're also going to have to be looking at the likes of Abrupt Slayers, the likes of Blue Bees, maybe Secret Jin, or even Footballers to execute 4 Angry Men. So we'll have to wait and see how they do react to that. Power coming in from the high ground. They have a lot of information, a lot of sightlines, but they are not in the circle. Footballers being put under pressure by Secret Jin. He's holding on. He's on his own, though. He's going to have to be provided with a little bit of support. Nice grenade to get knocked down to one of the Footballers players from Secret Jin. Day 2 okay. But what are the rest of the team going to do about it, right? You gotta have Cosmos coming in from the side, but he's going to be put under a little bit of pressure by Footballers. Solka is going to get stabbed out from behind by Power, so that's going to help Secret Jin to close out the little bit of engagement, but they will have to be aware of any potential third party. Down the hill, the members of Footballers are maybe going to look to disengage away from this, but that in itself might be a little bit of trouble. Roma's going to get knocked down. Levazin is going to get knocked down. Lutz is on his own. Back is against the wall. Down the hill by the side of that US. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The only thing he can hope for is that Power and the side of Secret Jin do look to distract each other. And that might give him a little bit of time to move around. But with Power looking to control this area, it is on the edge of the northeastern side of the circle. Execute also coming in from that side as well. There's going to be a 3-way dance, and I think that's where Secret Jin realized, hey, it's not worth us taking that fight. We're already inside the circle. Let's just focus on our own position. We also do lose Footballers. And there's a big gap in the center of the circle. Looking down south, the Abrupt Slayers have done a great job considering they're an adjusted roster for these scrims. So at the full squad as they're traveling to Dubai. Loops, although they haven't lost any players, they haven't really maybe been as controlling as I would like to have seen them. As 4 Angry Men has 1 player inside the blue zone. I don't know if that's the last player of his side. It actually is. So that rotation down south did not work in their favor. Trying to hold out on his own, but he's coming through a buggy. As A1 are just going to look to move into circle down on the down on the southwestern side. Loops are going to be coming in from behind them along with Abrupt Slayers. Blue Bees are also rotating on the western side. It's a 4-car rotation from the Japanese side. Now going to be looking for the final player, but a little bit of a third party from Loops might distract them. Curlia finds Reggie. Nice play coming out, and then the final player for Angry Men gets another knockdown. He's going to get second knockdown with the drop shot. It's 1 player left standing for Blue Bees, and it is going to be Divine. Going to get the Divine clutch of a lifetime to take out 4 Angry Men, and he will be able to get a couple of revives off to keep them up as a 2-man team. Abrupt Slayers now focused firmly on the members of Loops Esports. Loops did third party this to an extent on their previous fight, but now they have to focus all on the members of Abrupt Slayers, and that's exactly what they're doing. Leon gets knocked down in amongst the smokes. That is just at risk of a couple of grenades, my friend. Oh, as I do try and find the camera. There you go. And the camera angle pushing in and knockdown with the vehicle. Zero respect given. Abrupt Slayers are eliminated and we are down to just 7 teams with Abrupt Slayers, the latest victim. And we are going to see a hell of a lot of action with A1 inside the compound by the circle. Power coming in. Knockdown coming through. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to deal with the observer client. 1 player left standing for A1. Nice vehicle blow up to get the knockdown onto one of the power players. In around the side, the Shack is going to come in. That's a second knockdown for Sinister. Baby, you gotta love to see it. Now it's going to be 1 player left standing for power. On top, it's going to be another knockdown. Sorry, there's 1 player left standing with Sinister. It's going to be facing and maybe an Abrupt end. No, he gets he does not. He does get the 1v4, but it is going to be Blue Bees coming in and third-partying this Divine. Oh my lord, we're down to the final 5 teams. Insane stuff happening down on the southwestern side of the circle. I just did not expect to see. I was like, he's not going to get the 1v4, but hell yes, Sinister got the 1v4 in the power. 5 teams left standing in this game are Loops, Secret Jin, Blue Bees, BTR, and Execute. BTR and Execute. Luxy looking for the final player of Execute. And that is going to be Execute in this game. And Luxy is going to get the revive on the Ryzen. That was a 1v1. It was close by Fame Boys. But in the end, it's too much for him to handle. And now we're down to the final 4 teams. You have Secret Jin, you have Blue Bees, you have Loops, and you have BTR. The rotation is coming through for BTR to get the revive onto Micro Boy, but it's going to be confirmed by Carillo off the back of that vehicle blowing up. But if it feels bad, man, especially because Luxy had just got there. That means realistically that Loops have firm control in this circle in this game. Divine, who's the last player from Blue Bees, has held on for dear life in these games, getting a 1v4 in the power. As he holds down, we're going to see BTR being eliminated by Loops. We're down to 3 teams. Power, Blue Bees, and Loops. Divine holding on for dear life. Zaps for Boy. Now going to turn his attention on towards Kowalski. Walkshay does knock down Carillo. Federale trying to suppress the members of Secret Jin. Federale doing a fantastic job. He's outside the circle though, so he has to look to try and push in. The good thing is that he got the knockdown onto the player from Secret Jin who was inside the circle. All the while, Divine of Blue Bees has been just holding on for dear life. Does have a couple of med kits on his side. Even though Loops are definitely controlling this final moments of the game, anything can happen. Kowalski goes for the revive on the Carillo. That gives a little bit of time, and that's going to be Divine taking out Blue Bees. Divine is a 1-man wrecking machine. He's got 3 kills for his side. He's going to look for Federal. Puts him down to a little bit of health. Down by the side of rock. He's going full blazing. Now he does make his way down onto the southern side. He's not quite in the circle though. He's going to loot up his victim. And in comes Kowalski. It's a 1v3 for Divine. He got a 1v4 previously. Is he going to get a 1v3? This is a little bit of a different game though. And it's not going to be enough. Loops Esports. Get this chicken dinner. Get this game in the palm of their hand. And they claim game 1 in the PMGC scrims.